Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today we're going over Sebastian's ninth album called Truth. So, a couple of things I wanted to say because I've been waiting to kind of release this and talk about this album, but mostly talk about Guy. So, I have a history with him. I really liked him. I feel like I got into him around 2007 when he released his Memphis album. And I had to go backwards. And then I also found out that he was the first, in the first Australian Idol, he was the first winner, so he's pretty much the Kelly Clarkson of Australia, Australian Idol. And it still shows to this day. And on top of that, if you don't know sorry, I'm already starting to fangirl right now without even explaining who he is. So, Guy Sebastian is an Australian singer. He sings a lot of soul, hip, or pop. He started with kind of popish rock-ish, but I feel like that's kind of just what Idol, a direction that they give you first, so you're friendly with everybody else, and then slowly kind of expanded his thing and kind of found his own little niche. And I felt like when that happened, everything opened. And he's always had good songs, but I felt like the further on his career went on, the more authentic he became with more himself. You start seeing more of him and less of Idol. And so, so when that happened, and on top of that, he's also a 5th place contestant on Eurovision in 2015 with his song, and he's just a really great singer. He has a great voice. His range goes a lot of ways. His range is huge, and he has a lot of albums. He's I personally I actually like everything after Closer to the Sun. I do like Closer to the Sun because I felt like that was when we started to feel something happening with a different, not different sound per se, but it was starting to turn away or turn to a direction that was ooh, we're moving away from something, we're heading to something else. And Memphis album started to do that, because you started hearing that real soul from him, and then you go into Like It Like That. I feel like that was a little more fun, and then that had, just pieces and pieces and pieces of him, which is being exposed. But what I have to point out is that not all his albums are on Spotify, and not all of his albums are on iTunes, American iTunes. So, and it's always been my thing that just pissed me off for the longest time. And I think a moment there, it was on for a minute, it was on there, then they just took it all off. So all that was left was Just As I Am, Beautiful Life, Closer to the Sun, the Memphis album, Like It Like That, and this one, Truth. It just cut through Armageddon, Madness, Conscience, Madness. Though Madness killed me. What was that song that I just Imagine the Sunrise? He knows how to hit you hard with emotion, and he's so authentic and so real with it. You just can't help but wow, that really hit me, and I'm not even, and that has never happened to me, and it's just he just knows how to pull the emotion out, and he knows how to give you every bit. And that's why I'm mad that Madness is one of my favorite albums, and so mad that song is not out there. People would love that, and I feel like America is not getting the full Guy Sebastian experience, and it just pisses me off, because I think that he would just be ranking pretty much with John Legend. He's pretty much the Australian John Legend in my eyes, and it's just because that soul, that range, ugh. Anyway, so let's get actually into the album. Enough with the fangirling right now. So this album, really good, really good. Once again, we're peeling back more of the onion, and we're seeing more of him. And now I feel like in this situation, he's way more comfortable with himself with this album. And not that he was uneasy before, but this feels like there's something satisfying about how he sings and how he talks. It's very veteran. It's very I've done this for a while. I know the ins and outs. I am now going to give you me, and I might give you some good songs. I might give you some, I might give you some ballads. I might give you some like bops. I might give you whatever. Like, this is on me, what I want to do, and I'm talking about me, my family, and he does definitely just touch on a lot of things. So I love the fact that it starts off with "Before I Go." It's one of the singles that came out before this album, and it's just such a I get up. I fall, but I get back up. Or you think you've seen the last of me. There's just more to come, you know. And you will always, no matter what happens, whoever comes after me, comes before me, that outranks me, you will always remember who I am. You will remember me, you know. That's my legacy will live on. And I think that's so true. So true. So true. Believer is a really good song. I pretty much like all the albums. So this might be a long video because I'm also a huge fan, so work with me. Believer. So most of the songs, this album reminds me a lot of John Legend's album that I cannot remember the name of, that I literally reviewed. Check that out. Where it talks about love, and it talks about he's married, so he has his wife, and he's talking about his love with his wife, and like bits of insecurity, but more just like how much he wants to be, how loyal and how dedicated he is to this relationship. And he says that to this marriage, and he says that in Believer. He's like, he's pretty much saying like he still will be here no matter how many times that she pushes him away. And he says, he's like, if you really believe that that I should leave, then find a pain that cuts deeper than losing you. And I was like, oh wow, that's pretty intense. So I really love that. And I forget because there's been such a gap. Thank you, Spotify, that I forget that he does great with metaphors. He's like, it's like, no offense to Katy Perry, but Katy Perry is the queen of metaphors in her songs, but he has rounded it so perfectly to where it just feels right. And Katy Perry sounds good, and it does. Metaphors does hit, but this one hits harder because it's getting you into that corner of where he's talking about. There's no undertone, like, what does that mean? And I feel like with Choir is a great example. This was dedicated to his friend and his musical collaborator, Luke, Liang? I cannot pronounce anything today, sorry. So he was part of that, and and that kind of leads off into more of him talking about more about mental health, because that has to do with Luke. And this song is just like talking about, like, you're singing with choir. You're now up above. You're now in heaven with everybody else, and you're with people, and you're never alone this time. And he talked about how, like, he says one thing I really, really like of this. He says talking about his relationship with friends and how much you don't take your friends for granted and just call them if you need to. And it says, like, too busy to call, so we'll catch up next week. And then it gets to next week, and we say, well, maybe next week. And before you know, we're all feeling old, asking where did our friend go. So it's just like pretty much he's saying, like, just cherish them, like, talk to them before they do go, you know. I really like that. I love I'm your man. I love the production in that one. I love it's also talking about kind of like playing cards. Is that as a metaphor, and how he's like been watching this woman just kind of go through heartbreak, and then he's like, I've seen this, but you know, I am on the other side. I'm there waiting for you. I want to be there. I want to be the man for you. So if you're ever ready for an actual sure thing, I'm right here. And he says that. He's like, I got a pocket full of aces, and he's ready to play it, and it's like that, and I love it. Standing With You is one of his popular recent songs right now. It's also about mental health. This is like deep mental health, and I love what he says. I always forget that he just knows how to pull the emotion. He also knows how to get the point to you, to where it hits hard. One of the things that he says, he's like, instead of telling you that you'll be alright, I'm just gonna be someone by your side. And it's just like, the more he's just convinced, he's just more and more, and he's like, I'm here. Even I won't say like, oh, you'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Everything's gonna be fine. Like, He's just there for an ear, just support. You know, he's not going to tell you what to do. He's going to be there for you. One thing he does say though, he's like, yeah, because if there is one thing you're wrong about, this world wouldn't be better, wouldn't be a better place. I don't want to lose you now. So it's that direction. I think that's also connected with choir, just saying like that's dedicated to Luke. And then this one's like, just so anybody else out there that feels this way, let me know. Like, just so you know, I'm here with you. I want to be there with you. My friends, my family, I'm there with you. And it's like that, there for support. Only thing missing is a very upbeat kind of song, and it has a great vibe to it. I love it. It's pretty much just saying how he got back into his like rhythm. He's back into his old self, like his own self. And the only person missing is his partner next to the side. So because he wants to celebrate that, and it feels like he wants to celebrate his full roundedness finally, where he gets his like blood, to be blunt, like his whole shit together. He's more realized. He's more as one with himself, you know. And now he wants to share that with with another person, with his wife, I'm assuming, and to be there with him to celebrate this triumph. Who I Love, featuring the Hamiltons, amazing. Wordplay, songwriting is amazing, and it's pretty much another thing about the whole Believer, just like, you don't have to fix yourself. Who you are is exactly what I'm looking for. I know you're a beautiful mess, but he says, but that's who you are, and that's who I love. And I thought that was very beautiful. In a World, featuring, hopefully I get this right, Shungudzo. Oh my god, the intensity and the amazing, every single word is hitting hard. Every single word, every single sentence is exactly, it's just like I kept on going, yes, 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 you know. For example, he's saying this is his perfect in a world. He doesn't say perfect because I feel like he's saying the world isn't perfect. The world isn't meant to be perfect. But in this world, we live in this world that I imagine, this is what happens. This is what we believe in. This is what I can see happening. And so one of the things he says is it's where it's common to say that ain't my God, but yours is cool with me. So free religion. We don't shit on anybody else's religion, you know. And if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. That's cool. But you still can stand up for yourself and believe in what you believe, but you don't have to shit on their stuff just to feel like yours is more powerful. And one thing I do like that really hit hard, once again, he knows how to do it, is where teachers can just teach instead of training for a tragedy. Once again, a shout out to the gun violence inside America. And I also feel like, I don't really know if there's been a lot of gun violence in Australia. I haven't really been paying attention in that direction. There's been a lot of things going on here. But I'm assuming that that's probably, like, it's so true. It's so real. Like, you can't even teach. You have to look to make sure you're not getting shot at, you know, and keeping your students safe. And he says, pray to God that you grow up in a world where you're safe and you're sound, never lost, always found, and always heard. I think it's so nice. Come On Let Me Drink is one of the ones with Hamiltons and Wale. It's the most produced song on the album, the most produced song. Like, not in a bad way, it's just like everything else kind of was like, this production is a little more simplified, and this one gets more harder bass and stuff like that, and it sounds really nice. It sounds fun. It sounds like he's having fun singing it, honestly. And then another one I want to shout out, which I didn't start this one, but I did like the idea of what he was doing. It's so creative, kind of dark, but still creative. Pretty much it's called If He Won't. And usually in these songs it's talking about, oh, if he doesn't do it, I will. It's me specifically, not in this way, where it's like he's playing this narrative where he's not the person's, he's singing from a person outside of their marriage due to the fact that his insecurity that he is not putting in all the work or he's not satisfying his wife as enough as he thinks as enough as she would want him to. So he has this narrative where it's just like this guy from the outside perspective is just like, I see that, and if he doesn't do it, I will, kind of thing. And he says that in this. So yeah, and it's one of those. It's really interesting. It's really it's really kind of not dark, but it's just like wow, it's really ballsy of you to feel like that's really interesting the way to express your insecurity by seeing from a different perspective. It's kind of cool. And finally, the final song that I did start was Fantasize. This has to be the most closest we get to a sex song from him. Like, the closest we get. Like, I feel like we had some other ones, but it never really gone there. And this is, like, specifically for that. It's more trappy, so it's nice to hear him in a trap kind of sound. It sounds really good. I think that if he released a trap album, it would be really cool. Yeah, so this one is just like it's pretty much the same. Just like let's try anything. Let's do whatever we want to do with it. Like whatever you want to do, I'm down. If you don't be afraid to speak your mind. If you want to do something, let's try it. You know, if we like it, we like it. If we don't, we don't. You know, it's nothing going to change anything. And then there's a great kind of like faded like guitar solo that goes in the middle of it. That's very sexy too. But yeah, I really like this album. I really, 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 really like this album. Of a couple of songs that I felt like it wasn't really hitting me was just Let Me Drink. But everything else just he knows how to tell a story. He knows how to write. He knows how to get people, surround people that also know how to write and produce. Like, he knows what he's doing. And he's been doing it for long enough, you know? So, I give this a 9 out of 10. Leave a comment below telling me what you thought. If you liked it, let me know. Hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get more of my videos. And I'll see you all in the next video.